JB. I hope you're all doing really well this evening. 30th of August, nearly transfer window deadline day. Another couple of days to do business in. We can talk about that as well. Talk about the match. Hope we're all doing really well this evening. I've had a little time to sit down, think about the match, think about what I genuinely thought about the match. Let me just adjust this slightly. What I genuinely thought about the match. So feel free to get into the chat. Let me know. Agent Scott is in the house. Absolute legend of the chat. So I wanted to go through a couple of bits and pieces that I've seen, that I've read, some of the thoughts that I had on the match today. And ultimately, where do I think that we're going to end up as we go into the break? Now, I think Amorin is pretty much safe for now, but I would really like to know what you thought about the game today. We'll go through each of the players as well. Where you think we're kind of at this stage, where you think a centre midfielder is possible. I've got my opinions on that as well. There's so much out there today. So I'm just really interested to know what you guys knew. Your trivia question. United should be embarrassed with themselves today. Interesting, not Brame. Interested to know your opinions on that. Obviously, you do get into this chat and absolutely, 100%. People get their opinions in, and I'm never gonna shout you down. And when you say United, do you mean the players? Do you mean the manager? And this is what I want to be really, clear from my own perspective, as to when we talk about people's fault or United should be, who did Sir Alex as United manager? Ron Atkinson is my answer. Big Ron, I believe. I think anyway. I did go a little bit early on that one. I think big Ronnie Atkinson, I think, was the man he replaced there, didn't they? Power on this. Yeah. I'm showing my age there, Scott. Straight in with that one. Not Bray, mate. Both Amorin needs to go, and the job's too big for him. Not Bray, mate. I mean, we can, again, this is the beauty of this sort of show, where you're bringing those opinions. And again, what I always say is I think it's really important to get all sides of that opinion across. Now, I'll give you my opinion. I know it's really difficult, not Bray, mate, to get your opinions in on text and stuff, because it takes ages to type down and that kind of stuff. But I'll give you my opinion for what it's worth. We'll go through the match today. So for me, no, the owners need to go. No, Amorin, get these questions in. Rick, I mean, my question today, or Scott's question was, if you read it in the chat, is who did Sir Alex Ferguson replace when he joined? And my question basically today is, Mbeumo looks good though, Shesko was terrible. Not Brett, mate. Again, I'll give you all my opinions on this as well. You're asking, you make some really good observational stuff, and we can go through that. So let's go. I'm going to go through the match, going to go through the team, and give you my opinions today. So for me today, I thought that United looked really bright. I thought, first half an hour, 25 minutes, if you're looking at XG and you're into that sort of thing, chances created, touches in the opposition half, United are up there, top of the league. Looking at chances, we for those people who are going to say that this was a smash and grab, a lucky win, I disagree completely. We should have been 3-0 up. We're not taking our chances. Mbeumo should have scored. Ahmad should have 100% have scored. Again, we do concede goals too early. That's going to be my point in this as well. So again, you made some. That's a good segue into that. So I think going forward, I thought we were bright. We looked sharp. The only thing we couldn't do was put the ball in the back of the net. The wondrous and insatiable Big Data on my channel. So Mourinho was the best thing that happened to you post Fergie. I disagree. I disagree with that. I don't think he was. The problem is the wondrous, insatiable. I'm just going to call you the wondrous. Is that to a point? None of these managers, in my opinion, were ever going to succeed because the board were never going to give them the players to succeed. Now, yes, some of them did get the players, but ultimately, what happened with these managers was, yes, they didn't get the first choice, second choices, and then they panic bought players. And then we sacked managers, gave them a year to 2 years, bought players for them, panic bought by people who had no idea how to buy players, had no idea what system. So we sacked, bought players, bought players, wasted £1 billion. So no manager was ever really going to have Jose was asking to get rid of some of these players, like Luke Shaw, even then, Martial, even then, Rashford was it as well. Nothing happened. So should have stuck with Moyes, mate. We would have gone down with him as well. So to a degree, it's very, very difficult for me to quantify and say who was the best thing because of this club ownership, and this is ultimately going to be the theme of the show, is who I really think the culprit is as well. But again, feel free, guys, to get your opinions in on that one. I have heard a few things say that there could be a loan deal and Lamens is not further than. Scott, agree. That's again, it's going to be one of my things to mention on this. So thank you for bringing that into the show as always. Yeah. So according to Ornstein, Lamens is not as far as people seem to think it is. People were saying yesterday that I think I mentioned it, pretty much saying that Lamens is pretty much there or thereabouts. It's not. I've not gone with a here we go. I didn't go with a here we go on Anthony. I didn't go with a here we go on Lamens. I've pretty much said that they're on thereabouts. And with Lamens, it's not there. And possibly there's a centre midfielder loan. But please be aware of this. Kobe Manu is still looking to leave this club, but he's been told that he's not going to go in any circumstances. SAF set the bar high, exactly. Now the great Moisei is working wonders at the beach for Everton. So Jackie G winning as the Premier League. I'm deluded. No, I mean Everton are. I think Everton are a great club, wonderful club. I'm with Everton. I'm really pleased for you guys that you managed to get to the stadium in Premier League. There was a big chance that you wouldn't. But I think Everton can now do some good stuff. I think Grealish is a brilliant signing. He's a wonderful footballer, a wonderful player, and Everton. I really hope you guys have a really, really good season. Football Tube couldn't put the ball in the net as it is and didn't start number 9 from the off. I'm one of them fans who was hopeful we'd lose today. City and Chelsea pumping. Yeah, but I don't get why you'd want us to lose. Like, I understand people's opinions. Football Tube, I get it. I do. I get people's opinions, right? I really, really do. But wanting your team to lose, no matter what I think about the manager, no matter what I think about the players, no matter what I think about the team, and I'm not saying that you're not a real fan. I would never say that. People think things in different ways, right? If you go onto other channels and you put that opinion across, I'm sure that they're going to say to you, "Oh, you're not a real fan," blah 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 blah. And I don't know. Kind of, are you a one merchant or are you just coming in? I don't know that, right? But I'm just going to assume, as you said, that you're a fan, right? I'm not going to call you any less of a fan because of that. I think people have their reasons for doing stuff. But me personally, I don't believe that. I don't believe that we're going to get pumped by City. I also don't think that because we won 3-2 today, we're back and we're going to do. Now, I've been saying, if you've watched me regularly on here, I'm very, very logical, very level-headed, and I've said that I think this season is going to be a very, very up and down season. I think I've predicted a loss and a win between those two games. I think I've predicted 8 points from 8 games, and I am still going to stick with this manager because it's something that I want to do that we've not done in the past with this coach. For me, it is not the manager, it is the players. Not all of them, it is the players, and it is more than anything, as we're going to see in this window, it is the ownership of this club and what they're doing yet again. They're not backing this manager that they need to back, and they're not. Spursy being Spursy again today. Scott, this is what we said yesterday. I think we did. We said let's wait to see what happens with Spurs. Lo and behold, we are 2 points behind Spurs now. So bear in mind, Van Gaal won one trophy that Fergie was struggling to win towards the end of his 26-year tenure. It was the FA Cup. Before Van Gaal won the FA Cup and not won since 2003 and 4. True MMU, but we did win a Champions League. We did win, I think, back leagues. We were in the Champions League final twice. We did win one of them, and we won the league. So when you're winning leagues and getting to Champions Leagues finals, do you then? And maybe I'm. What's the word I'm looking for? Maybe I overlooked it FA Cup, but MMU. I get that opinion. But when you're winning Champions Leagues, and then when you're getting into Champions League finals and winning leagues, the FA Cup seems almost inconsequential. Now, obviously, that as an opinion is completely wrong. I will hold my hands up now and say that. But sort of when around that time, when you're doing all that, you look at City now, Liverpool, FA Cup to them is not even a thing, right? So I get the point, but my counter argument to that is when you're still winning leagues, getting to Champions League finals, and winning one, it seems bigger now than what it is then. So for me, I Fergie's mind was Champions League at the end. Let's look at this. Rick says, let's look at this in retrospect. The direction United have been downward since Fergie. He purchased only one true world-class player since Rick. What I might do, I've been going back. So I've been going back to 2000. I think when we sold Cristiano, and if you look at all the transfers that we did, people think that Fergie right up until the end bought world-class stars. He replaced. It really wasn't the case. Like if I do a transfer show, which I think I might do, so when I get the members stuff out, what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a video just for the members, and it basically is going to be looking at the transfers that we did, the money that we spent between 2008, say 2013. So I just want to show people that Fergie, what he had to work with, and the budgets that he worked with, because people really think that throughout the whole of his career, even up until the very end, that we literally spent hundreds of millions on players. That really wasn't the case at all. No, we beat City and we beat City and we will 2-2 Chelsea. Scott, I really hope so. Van Gaal give young players a chance. He believed in the youth and never let big teams have an easy game. Van Gaal's football, MMU was boring. Oh my God, it was boring. I remember that time. It was boring. Rashford came through. I get that. Martial, fantastic, but, yes, if you look back on it, yes, but he was boring. Van Gaal was so boring. And the funny thing is, people forget people were calling for his head. People were calling for him. And now what's really interesting is now that the latest manager that people don't want, they're now calling for him. And these are the same people that wanted Amorin and they're calling for his head again. So I'm not saying that you're that guy, but it's so recently people have been looking back with this starry-eyed opinion on Ollie, Van Gaal, and everybody knew the writing was on the wall. So I think people with time look back with this glory of these managers. They weren't very good. MMU, we've signed loads of quality players, just haven't produced any of our own. Mason Greenwood had off the pitch stuff, Rashid gone, and Mainu, who knows. There is a bit of a concern. I do agree that the academy's probably dropped off a little bit. Garnacho, you can lump him in there, to be fair. I mean, it was only because because of his attitude, that's where he's gone. But yes, But again, I think we're all clambering back to this like class of '92, which I think, in retrospect, is probably one of the best and the worst things that's ever happened, because we're all clouded. Academies don't bring through every season 4, 5, 6 good players. It's very rare that that happens. They yes, they might come through, but they don't make a whole team. So I think there's this misconception about we're suddenly the worst at bringing the young players through. We always have a young um, academy player in our matchday squad, but there's not many clubs that bring through and have these world class stars. There just really isn't. Football Tube, get him got at any cost. That's my opinion. If it means speed up the sack and speed it up, who are they going to back? A guy who lost the final and offered to leave. So football Tube, and I think we sort of had these conversations already, my friend. Again, as you correctly said, that's your opinion. It's a valid opinion to have, and I don't just say it because I'm not trying to answer the comment, or that is your comment to make. I don't agree. I think that's a. I think it's a very. I think it's a very knee jerk reaction to have to a manager that's not been given players, is not being backed really. And you're talking backing, but we needed a striker anyway. We needed some new players. We needed we needed 200 million. So we're acting like we spent 200 million and we should be challenging for the Premier League. We need 400 million just to catch up to even get to fourth place. So and that's just a playing field. And then to catch up again to even have a chance of top 3 or 4, we probably need to spend another 200 million. That is not on Amorin. This side that finished 15th last season wasn't Amorin's side. He had one player, Dorgu, in his side, an inexperienced 21-year-old player. It baffles me. It baffles me, and I'm probably frustrating you as much as not you're frustrating me, but people's opinions. I just don't get their opinions. Like, you may be sat there going, I don't understand why this guy is saying that he needs to stay in because he's lost X amount of games. He's been the worst guy, and I'm sat there saying, well, I don't understand people that can't seem to understand that this is a guy that has been brought into a club with players that don't play a system. He's been asked to do a job with these players to play a system. All of this squad was none of his squad. He's barely had a pre-season. He's had a pre-season with 2 of these players. This is the same team that finished 15th last season. The majority of these players are not good enough. We've been screaming for years to get rid of these players. They're still here. He's not been bought as centre midfielder. He's not been bought a keeper. He's been asked to do a job which he can't do with one arm tied behind his back, and yet he's doing the best that he can. And people are screaming like it's his fault. This is nothing to do with formation. This is not the players that we've signed. This is previous. This is the previous sign. So not that it frustrates me, but in my mind, I'm like, I just can't blame a guy whose fault it simply isn't. It's just not his fault. MMU says, no, I just think that after he was the best manager, but we sacked him after winning. I do think that sacking Vanguard the way we did was awful. Quality players at 2 a penny. We squadded quality players for fun not too long ago. We're no longer in the market for world-class players. Exactly, because we can't. Left it late. Would you agree that Lady Luck was smiling on you lot today? No. Spuds are irrelevant. Don't waste your breath talking about them, mate. I don't agree today. And I'll tell you for why. Is that if you look at our XG today, I'm not a big fan of stats, but if you look at the shots on goal, the penalty that I would argue I'd argue we had most shots, most possession. We should have been winning 3 to 4-0 today. We had not because I'm plucking it out of my arse, but because that factually those are the shots. Where we were bad today was the middle of the park again. The goalkeeper, okay, he was okay, but you could argue that one of the goals was his fault, but also that midfield is atrocious. So for me today, no, it wasn't luck for me today. Should Ahmad have got the penalty? You can argue that we should have got a penalty. We didn't get a penalty, and it was a soft won. Uh, you can argue that, but I don't believe it was luck today. The fact that we let them in, Burnley had nothing today. We were clearly the better, and people are going to say they're going to see that result and they're going to say you were clearly lucky and you got a penalty. Obviously, you didn't watch the game. Like, and I'm not saying I'm not having a go, but you can't watch that game, and people will. You can't watch that game and say that we were lucky to win that game. We should have won that game. We just couldn't put our chances away yet again. So I would not agree that we were lucky today. No, let's get it straight, especially the Greensburg game. From an English fan point of view, winning the FA Cup is massive. It's not an easy. I'm not saying that. I'm not disrespecting the FA Cup. It is as a trophy. It's the oldest in the world. It's the most respected in the world. I respect it completely. I think it's an amazing cup to win. As a kid, the amount of matches I used to watch FA Cups in the 80s. I've watched it all through my whole life. It's probably one of the biggest, most prestigious cups that you can win. But when you're referencing that to Van Gaal, saying that he's won one of the trophies that Fergie struggled to win, Fergie didn't care about the FA Cup. We went to a Club World Cup rather than playing an FA Cup. So I'm not saying for me that's right, but Fergie didn't care about the FA Cup. Like, he cared about it to a point, but Ferguson went to a Club World Cup and didn't want to play in the FA Cup. He didn't want to. So it's not because he didn't want to win it or because he struggled to win it. He wasn't bothered by it. Once he'd won the treble, he wasn't really fussed. It wasn't because he struggled to win it. It was because the league was more important and the Champions League was more important. And that's what I'm saying. It's in the context of your comment about Van Gaal and doing something that Fergie struggled to do. Fergie didn't struggle to win the FA Cup. He didn't put it up on top of his list. It was Premier League, Champions League. That is what he wanted to do. He even went to a Club World Cup and missed that. So, when you're looking at that, you've got to give context, and that's what I'm trying to do. I watched Atletico Madrid pretty often last year. The fans halted the match mid-game so Simeone could to fix up and leave. From that point, he changed his team. I mean, on it. Yeah, but that's not England, is it, mate? I mean, I get it. I get it. I mean, from the things that you're describing, are you a United fan? I don't know, mate. I think it's easy to say you are. I'm not really, but by saying things like, comparing him to a Spanish league, comparing it to the fact that you want to lose matches, that's on you, my friend. No, but Rick, that's my point. Liam Mill says, hi, fans need to be realistic and Rick, I agree. John O'Connell, Agumi will be great, yes. Hi. Remember Fergie was on the verge of getting sacked before the success started. Good to see that you have faith in Amorin. You proved the doubt was wrong, probably given time. The fairest, mate, is we need to change as a club. If we can't keep backing and sacking because it just don't work. At what point would you go, let's take a different stance? Let's be different to what we've done. Because imagine if you could repeat something you've been doing over and over and over again. At what point do you go, this doesn't work? So for me, Amorin is an Amorin in. I'm not saying that Amorin is not going to sack himself. If we don't get a centre midfielder and he keeps playing Casemiro, who for me today was fucking awful, he might sack himself. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that Amorin is not going to go. But I'm not going to be one of the people who says that he needs to go not without his proper team. And I think that was when Brian Kidd swapped sides. I think it probably was. Henry Solomon says, hello. Respectfully, bro, you've got to deal with the cards you're dealt. Let's be honest, the game's the game. How do you now another manager doesn't cook with his team? What's the guarantee? Football tube, mate. Respectfully, mate, everything that I say to you, and I know it's with respect, okay, and I will respect you back. But so why didn't Luke? So this is my opinion. So why didn't Luke Shaw cook under like another manager? Why didn't Anana Cook under this manager. Who else has been in his team? Yoro. I mean, he's been fine, but Ahmad, you know, Mason Mount, and yeah, they've been injured, and you can argue that as well. Hoyland, so they were with Ten Hag. Some of them have been with a couple of managers now. So when Eric Ten Hag, okay, so to go back to your point here, so when Eric Ten Hag brought in Yoro, De Ligt, Mazraoui, Xerxes, Ahmad's been there a while, Mason Mount, I know he's been injured, but he's still a player. So why then, when he was sacked, they couldn't cook under this manager? So I'm just trying to figure out here. What you're saying is that you're basically saying that these players, we need to keep them and just continue to replace the manager until somebody can make them cook. Is it not more likely the reason why they don't cook is because they're not very good? Like Luke Shaw has had his day. He was a great player. His injuries ravaged his career. He's just not it. Hoyland, for example, I'm gutted he's gone, but he hasn't cooked for 2 years. So why didn't he stop cooking under this manager? So basically, to go back, right? Rashford, we had Sancho, we had Garnacho was under two. So all those players in the bomb squad and this squad were all part of the old regime, and one of them was bought for Ollie. So how come Sancho then struggled for Ten Hag as well? So how comes he didn't cook under like a brand new coach? So what I'm saying is that it's not like these are all brand new players and a new team. It's basically shit on top of shit. So why didn't they cook before then? So why didn't they cook for like Ollie? Or why didn't they cook for Ten Hag? Or why didn't they cook for this guy? So all I'm trying to say is, logically, I get what you're saying, but, and I'm going to ask you the question back, is so do we keep changing the manager until these players cook? Even though we've changed managers, this is not the, other than Dorgu, other than who's been fantastic, by the way, other than Cunha, who's been great, other than in Burma, who's been great. Shesko hasn't been played. So other than those, every single one of the players that we've had in this squad, other than 4 players out of a 22-man squad, how come they've not cooked under this coach then? And they won't cook under the next coach either. So that's what I'm saying to you. Like, to me, it doesn't make sense. These players are not going to cook because they're not capable of doing it. Amorin got played, been asking for a CM. Exactly. You seem like an honest guy. Prefer you to the other Amorin in us. Thank you, buddy. I mean, mate, this is not me Amorin in. This is not my opinion against yours. This is good actually, because I like in the debate. Like, I do like the debate because it makes me think, and your questions are valid points as well. But this is why this is good for debate. Football needs to change now. It's Moneyball. It really is. No, you don't have to produce your own world-class players. There are Brighton. Yeah, I agree with that. No, I think he deserves to stay because it's they have back-to-back managers. Fergie got patience. Liam, I was surprised to hear you actually number 1 for Doc in the league. Maybe we're just lucky. Typo and number 1 for XG. Liverpool not winning the league from the 80s till COVID year, so just patient, give him time. Memu, mate, I think, Anana has a new sponsor. I can't believe it's not butter. Amorin needs to evolve. I like him. I think he has something, but this isn't the Portuguese league. Rick, some good points here, mate. Bonnie Blue been on the phone to Anana. She wants to know how. Oh, I love it. Atma Wira says hi. Love your takes on the game today. Thank you, Delk Sport. Casa does need to go. I agree with you. Why? Because the last manager was scrub. The right one would come in and find to use his squad. Football Tube, again, I think, I would, because I believe in being fair, right? Where I will concede, Football Tube, is this, right? Would another manager come into this squad, play a different formation. And bearing in mind, I'm not calling out the formation here. All I'm saying on this formation is, would another manager come in with a different formation with maybe a simpler tactic suit these players, and would he get them playing better? Possibly. I can't argue that. But long-term stability, long-term, if we're going to do this, we want to do it for a long term. How long until these players start to down tools again? Like, and I know you're talking about Shaw and etc. But if you've only got Shaw to play, surely you're going to play Shaw. Does that not make sense? Like, these players are just not going to cook. These players are not cooking for another manager. I will concede maybe in a different formation and a simpler style of football, because these are low IQ players. They are low IQ. They can't low mentality players. Grimsby is the epitome that shows you what the mentality of these players are like. And maybe I'll concede that, but long term, you're still going to have the same issues, just in my opinion. Rick, leave it out. Fergie had so many players who rejected. He did. Ronaldinho, Torres, Silva, Hazard, Jesus. Zidane did. Shearer did. Gascoigne did as well. Paul Hurst did as well. The managers we've had, mate, weren't great. Which one of those has been proven besides Moyes, who's out of his depth? I mean, Jose was. I mean, to go back to the previous comment, was Jose probably the best of the lot that we've probably had? Yes. Was he backed? And to go back as well to your point, Football Tube, is that Jose wasn't backed. You need to bear that in mind. So he inherited players, and even the great Jose, whose stock hadn't fallen by then, even though he was still considered one of the world's best, he couldn't get a tune out of this squad. Like, he still struggled with this squad. No, he got second. I think his greatest achievement, he said, was winning that Europa League and getting second, and then they threw him under a bus. He got a bit of a tune out of them, but then they just stopped playing for him. So even Jose couldn't long term get these players cooking. You can argue a Europa League final and second in the league, but it's not cooking, is it? So even Jose, the great Jose who'd come into this league, probably had the best defence of all time. You could argue that, come into this league, and even he couldn't get a tune out of this squad. So, right now I don't know. Are you asking me whether Amorin is for the long term? I don't know. He's not being backed. Clearly not being backed. So if this club want to sack him, don't get him a midfielder, don't get him a keeper, and will he last by Christmas? I don't know. I really don't know. MMU, there's plenty as well. Which I rate the debate too, man. I've subscribed. You got my respect, and don't shy away from questions. Thanks, buddy. Appreciate that, my friend. I will never back away from the hard stuff, and also I don't disrespect what you're saying. I know exactly what you're saying, and you are entitled to say that and get it completely, 100%. And this is why debate is important, because I'm taking, whether or not I'm debating your point, I am taking on board the things that you say, because I have to be realistic too, right? I can't just sit here and go, right, Amorin gets a free pass week after week after week, because that can't happen. But I don't want it to happen just yet, because the alternative for me is ridiculous. And do we write off yet another season? And that's my fear here. I'm going to go through the chats a little bit. Do you think it is a mistake to move Garnacho to Chelsea? Nefarious, yes. Of course it is. Of course it is. He's going to be gunning for us. I mean, he's been banging on today about Chelsea, the best club in the world. He's always dreamed about playing for Chelsea. Like, just do one, mate. It's nah. Let's have a look. Sorry guys, just going to go. Yeah, if you are new in the chat, please don't forget to like, favourite, and subscribe. Just check us out. Get into this amazing chat. There's some amazing debates on here. What I like more than ever on here. It's just really nice to have people who share your opinion and see the world in the way that you do. That makes it easier to chat, but I also do love the debate as well, because I think, if everybody was the same and we all thought the same way, it would be so boring and we'd get no debate in life. Different place since Jose, despite he bagged 2 trophies in second place. I mean, Jose for me, could he have done more? Possibly. He just wasn't back fully, really. Further at MT and just, success is not overnight. Your ace. Thank you, my friend. So let's get into the game. Let me go through the game again, and then we can kind of talk about. And again, please get in your opinions. I think it's really important if you're Amorin out, if you're not a fan of this, just get your opinion in on this as well. And we can sort of see where we're all at, I guess, tonight as we go into an international break. I think it'd be really quite interesting to see where we all are. So the game today, 3-2. I'll go through the game and then we can start talking about a few more bits and pieces. So today, 3-2, did it flat rest? No, I don't think it did. I thought we were better in the first half. I thought where Burnley had their joy was right down the middle of the park again. Casemiro for me was just not right. I know some opinions in game where he was on there to basically control the game. Casemiro can't control the game. There were points where he was sprinting for the ball, and I generally thought he was running so slow. It was like he was in mud. He just doesn't control. The fact that Casemiro is still getting into this team and Ugarte can't get a game, I don't know if that's Amorin, or I don't know if that's Amorin trying to prove a point, or whether Ugarte is playing so badly he can't get into that squad. And then so when Mainu came in as well, I thought he looked better. I don't think he was particularly great. I will go through the team and score the team out of 10, 6 being an average, and then we can look at that as well. So I thought that first half again, I think we should have scored. Cunha went off. I thought Cunha looked okay, but again, I don't know if that's a protective thing, and hopefully he's not too bad. Euro and Delict I thought were okay. I mean, what can you do when you basically got nothing through the midfield? I thought they had a decent-ish game. There's no point talking about players that didn't join. I think so. Exactly. The players that didn't join, ifs, buts and buts and maybes, we just don't know, do we? Top Prick edits. Hello, my friend. So, Luke Shaw today for me, I think he was a 5.5. Luke Shaw still getting into this team for me. People like him, people don't. I'm not his biggest fan. I think he does an okay job. It really goes to show for me we need another centre back in there if we're going to persist. If we're going to persist with this back three, then I think that we need another centre back. What I saw countless times today was countering down that left hand side, constantly in between the wing back and the centre back. They target that Luke Shaw because they know he's got no legs. They know he can't run, and they target down. Now Luke Shaw defensively is okay. Again, that goal come from that side. He got nowhere close to the winger. I can't remember the player's name. It's not on him, but it's the fact that they ran through the pivot. I do agree with you on the broadcaster and the fact that Amorin does play certain plays to prove a point. You are right about that. I noticed that as well. MMU, and we'll go through that as well. So Luke Shaw, again, is he one of those players? He plays to prove a point. I don't know why. I know I get into this team, but if you're going to play with a 3 at the back, you need a better centre back who's not been injured for the best part of 2 years, and he's going to get injured as well. Roger Hall, interesting take, my friend. I'm not going to read that one out, but I get it, and I'll give you my opinion on that. So again, feel free, my friends, to get your opinions in on this as well. I think it's a really important topic to talk about. A Delo on the other side I thought was awful. Dorgu, I don't know whether Dorgu was rested or picked up an injury or something, but he's awful. I'm sorry. I know we put a couple of crosses in today. Topic Eddie said, can you say hi to Rical from me? Of course I can, my friend. Hi to Rical. I hope you're doing really, really well. Need Lamens and CDM, Roger Hall, I agree, my friend. As much as Casemiro is not what we'd like to field, as Amorin sees his steady, assured experience as useful, which only goes to show where we are. That's an interesting point, Rick, and that's going to be my next one. So let's talk about that one. So, and then Ahmad for me, I didn't think he was great. So, if you're scoring players out of 10, Delow for me was probably about 5. Not for me today. Ahmad was probably 5 as well, 5.5 maybe. Really, really good going forward. Just defensive stuff. It's just again, he's in and out of games. He's just not a wing back. Again, I agree with you. I don't get him. I don't get it. We don't have the personnel to play it. We don't. Dorgu can, but I just don't get it. Casemiro, Rick. Casemiro for me. Casemiro. In a three, Elijah, my friend, just all I'll say to you, Elijah, my friend, in here is absolute welcome to the chat. No problems with opinions, but when let people have their opinion. You can have your opinion as well. We can debate that opinion out, but let's do it in the correct way. So I'm just about to talk about Casemiro. So Casemiro for me, I get it, Rick. In a three across the midfield, you can have Casemiro in there. He can be the CDM that sits there in between the back four if you play back four, and he can sit there and mop things up because he's got people around him to support him, and then he can be that sort of anchor. He can be that guy that pings it off, and he doesn't need legs. Great. In a pivot, he doesn't work. And I've said this before, and I will say this again: is that if you know anything about Amorin, and I've spoken to a couple of sporting people, I've watched the way that he does things. He likes his 2 midfielders, and the reason why he plays 2 and he wants 2 in there is because he wants 2 midfielders who work extremely hard, up and down. As much as Fernandes, and I think Fernandes had a better game today, he runs up and down. He's a little bit erratic, but he's a little bit up and down, and he had a better game. Casemiro can't do that. Casemiro looks better in a 3. So I don't know if Amorin is playing him there to prove a point. I don't know, because Casemiro cannot play in a 2, and he can't. Every single attack is running through that centre. The pivot, what people don't get about this pivot, why it's so pivotal, is because it links the whole system together. Those wing backs, but that pivot, think about it as a spine, right? And I know you've got a spine to a team, but we're not necessarily playing with a spine. Those 2 centre midfielders are so important. They've got to go up and back, control the game. But you can control the game, but you've got to be physical, winning the ball, and you basically hunting in packs. They can't do that. Casemiro cannot do that, and he cannot control the game. So for the life of me, I cannot understand. Is Ugarte so bad, and is Manu so bad at that job, that Casemiro is the only one that gets into that team? It's so obvious that they're so bad as a pairing in that pivot. Why Amorin is insisting on that pivot? Is it because he's trying to get himself a new centre midfielder? That is the only way that I can see why Amorin is putting Casemiro in there. Casemiro today for me was a 4. I thought he was dreadful. We did a couple of things right, but for me, he was absolutely nowhere near it today. And for 300k a week, it's a no for me. Fernandes, I thought, had his best game. Penalty aside, I thought he was a bit more controlled. He's still petulant. He still does the things that he does, but I thought he was better today. No 25-yard banging shots. What I liked about the performance today was even when we were trying to chase the game, we still tried to get balls into the box. We still tried to get ball. We still try to cross balls into the box. And Bruno I thought was fundamental in that today. So for me, I thought Bruno was a 7.5. Man of the match potentially. He's up for that for me. So I thought he had a good game, better performance, but I am going to say it was against Burnley. Cunha probably about 5.5, 6. He got injured. I don't know how bad it is. Again, I want to see him score goals. I want to see him on the pitch. So I don't necessarily like that false striker position. Mount, I thought Mount was okay as well. Now, what did I say about Mount? Injury, is he injured? Has he come off to manage his minutes? I don't know. I've been saying this now for quite some time. As much as I like Mount's issue is always going to be that injury. People are forgetting he's got a long-term injury. His injury is career threatening. He's going to be out again at some point for an extended amount of time, and this is what I'll always say, that Mason Mount is a squad player. I hope he's back. I hope he comes back. I hope he's okay. He's a bright spark. He came on against Grimsby. I thought he looked okay. Today, he's very, very bright, but it's that injury for me. So, I'll give him a 5, 6, but again, injury. And Belmo for me is, you could give him a 7.5 as well. He's my personal man of the match. I thought he's looking sharper, he's looking fitter. He looks dangerous. Every time he gets on that ball, he looks dangerous. So for me, he's the man of the match. Why Shesko didn't come on earlier, and now we'll get on to the sort of subs. Mejraoui being back, I think it's brilliant. I love the fact that he's back as well. I think that's fantastic. Mainly did okay when he kept him on today as well. I know I'd give him a 5, 6. Xerxes looked alright, should have scored. He looks unfit, doesn't look sharp, but again, hopefully he can play himself into some fitness as well. Shesko, I don't know what's going on. I've seen people already comparing him to Weghorst. I've seen people saying really not nice things about him. Jesus, 22 years old. He's not even started a game yet. What's he supposed to do? He's not even started a game yet. What the hell was he supposed to do? So, yeah, I'd say Amorin, from him, I'd probably give him an average 6. Did he get his team right? Yes, I think that's the only team that he can pick. There's nothing else that he can do. If he'd have put Nana in goal, I would have scored him down. I think that would have been a mistake. Casemiro, if he's playing him to prove a point, he's playing a very, very dangerous game. Not starting Shesko, I just think with Mason Mount the way that he is, he needs to use Mason Mount as a utility player. You could argue, is he as good as Cunha's been? Probably. So why not just play either one of those two? But Shesko needs to play. So I think for me, Amorin is an overall 6 today. People are going to say that we were lucky today. No. The 2 goals came from the pivot again. Shocking pivot came from Luke Shaw down that side. We know where the issues are and we know where the players are. So for me, that is what I'm at. Let me know if you agree. If you think I'm crazy on that one, let me get back into the chats. And I said, honestly, have you been to Old Trafford? Yes, I have. Or like, who's that to? 3 crosses in the box. Shesko got on all of them. Okay, not coming in hard then. Boss talk a little bit about Real Madrid. I'm not going to, my friend. I don't know how they got on tonight. Suraj, Madrid, if this was a footballing channel, or if this was a Madrid channel, yeah, but tonight, it's hard. So many things to talk about with this club anyway, so I'm not going to get into that today, my friend. Elijah said, mate, that was alarming today. Amrin needs to walk, mate. Elijah, again, welcome, my friend. Nice to have you into the chat. Again, we are starting to get a little bit of a. What is interesting now is what we're starting to get on here is, and again, for those of you who are watching, don't forget to like, favourite, and subscribe. It really does help us out. We're 10,000k subs now. That is unbelievable in such a short space of time. So thank you to everybody out there. You sort of know who you are, and just for being here, it's an amazing thing to do. Was it alarming today? The thing that was alarming today, Elijah, and I'll agree with you to a certain degree, is that very much like Grimsby, right? Is that tactics and formation, because Burnley will go down, right? And it's no disrespect to Burnley, and I'm not saying it because we are this magnificent club. I'm just saying it as a club who has aspirations to be a top 4 team. You have a CEO who have said we're going to try to win the league by 2028. These are not my words. These are his words. So in 2 years' time, 3 years' time, you need a squad capable, right? So against Burnley, again, formations, tactics shouldn't really matter as such, right? You should be able to go out there and play your game and know that you're the best team at home to Burnley, right? And we don't have a squad to do it. We've got a front 4-5, that's fine. We've got a back 3, fine. The wing backs, I'm not sold on those just yet. We've got a pivot that's absolutely atrociously bad, but we deserve to win that game today. We deserve to win that game today. The alarming thing for me is that when you've got a coach and a fan base and players who are screaming at you, get in a centre midfield, and we don't do it. That is the alarming thing for me. If they want this manager to last as much as I want him to last, get him a centre midfielder. If they don't get him anything in, then Elijah, then Football Tube, you may get your wish. Amorin would probably be sacked. I don't want him to be sacked. This is not me. This is the more and more I think about this, and I think about this team, I think about the injuries that we could have, the players that we've got in this team. What's Amorin supposed to do with this? And the more that I think about it, if you guys, or for those of you who are Amorin out, I'm backing him, I want him to stay, then is a very good possibility that he walks at some point. And we can talk about the comments on that as well, because again, some of those comments for me are baffling as well. He could walk. So the next couple of days are pivotal. Expectations, otherwise we transcend to illusion. Let's be realistic. I agree. I have to disagree with your angle on this one. Elijah, my friend, you're entitled to disagree or agree. You don't have the legs for 2 in the midfield. It needs to be 3. I agree. I do think he can play in the 2. The players around him don't gel correctly. Mate, have you watched Casemiro? Like, Elijah, again, people like players and support players. Have you seen Casemiro play? He's awful. He's like he's on the beach. Today there's 4 or 5 times where he gave that ball away. He's been doing it constantly. Against Grimsby, against Leeds, against Arsenal. He gives that ball away. He doesn't have the legs. You have to have legs in this system. He needs to play in a 3. I get it. But even when he played in a 3 with Ten Hag got sacked. So this is the bit I don't get. We played a 4-3-3 under Ten Hag, and he was awful then. He was terrible. That season, he was awful. And he played in a 3 then. He's dropped off completely. Casemiro, it's a myth. It's a myth and it's an illusion if people think, and it's just my opinion, it's a myth and an illusion if you think Casemiro is the player that he was, and if Casemiro can do the same thing. It literally is a bit like me saying, put me in and around a team full of world-class stars, world-class team, make sure that I'm protected by a centre-back, 2 centre midfielders, and I can play in like a league like squad. He's paid 350k a week. There is no excuses for him. He's not 350k a week. He's not been set up to fail. Casemiro is failing because he's come to the end of it. He's coming to the end of his career. It's not on Amorin. It's not on Casemiro. His mind is still there, but his body is not. That's all it is. That's all it is. It is not deep with Casemiro. It's Real Madrid saw an opportunity and they took it. They took the money, and Casemiro, the drop off of Casemiro has been catastrophic. He's not a £350,000 player. He would not get into a City side. He would not get into anybody's side. Now we're stuck with him. We're playing him, paying 350k a week, and it's just done. It's just done. It's just done. Can we talk about Newcastle for 5 minutes? So, of course we can. Of course we can. Will we actually see any signings before Monday? Lemens, I think maybe, mate, but that's it. I think that's it. Don't think the board will trust him with any more funds. Elijah, do you know what, mate? If that is true, and this is where I don't disagree with you, is that if that is the case, Amorin's gone. I think Roger and Elijah, I think if that is the case, then I think the board might as well let him go now. And that's not me being a child. That is, if you don't trust him with funds, let him go now, because there is just no point. I think my message is shown. Someone blocked me. I can see it. Yep, I can see it. Maybe in Burma for man of the match. I can see it. All good. After selling and thanking Fernandes for great service, should have bagged Belieber. Fergie offered better servants than Fernandes. I would have sold Fernandes. I would have probably got another 2 or 3 in that midfield, but we didn't. And I think long term we're going to suffer for that. Can anyone shed light on the structure of this team? Elijah, I know what he's trying to do. I think you can see what he's trying to do. Right? He's basically trying to overload. So he's basically trying to overload the opponent. Right, so we play with the back three, and the whole point of that is you've got centre backs who are all pretty much quick. So they're pretty much the left and the right centre back can pretty much act as wingers in effect. So you've got a back three, they can push up, but then you've got your 2 centre backs. Either two of the three can sprint back at like any time, and then you progressively overload with the wing backs. You've got your centre midfielders, if need be, can go forward, all at the same time come back. So you're not only are you pressing like a vice, so you're constricting them as you go forward. Then as you come back, you can quickly all come back together. So you progressively overload with the wing backs, and then the reason why, if they then try to hit the ball over the top, that you can combat that with the wing backs is that you've got quick wing backs, centre backs who are quick as well. So in pairs you can run back together, but you basically, the whole point is you totally press, don't give them any chance to come out, and you can all sprint back. It basically is simple as that. But we don't have the players to do that. The reason why there's big gaps in between centre backs, the reason why it's not cohesive and they can run through us, is because we don't have centre midfielders who are quick enough or disciplined to do that role. We also don't have centre back pairings who are quick and who don't know each other yet. It's so unbalanced across the whole of the pitch. It's unreal. So it's not. Do I agree that maybe Amorin should tweak it slightly for these sets of plays? Logically, I think yes, but I don't agree that Amorin should be servicing these players. I think these players should learn to play a system, but does he need to amend the system slightly for these sorts of plays? And I think he does, because how can Amorin, right? The one thing I'm going to say, and maybe you may disagree on this one, is I don't agree that we pander to the players, okay? But I also realise I've run teams, right? I run teams now, okay? And you're only as strong as your weakest link in your team, okay? So if you're trying to do something in like a household or at work, and you can't do it because you've got somebody in your team who's not as strong as everybody else, and you can't achieve that specific goal, then you need to tailor your goal. You need to tailor your tasks, and you need to tailor what it is that you're trying to achieve, because you physically can't do it. So Amorin, in my opinion, as much as he wants these players to play this system, he's even said himself he's disappointed that his players can't play this system. So why keep flogging a dead horse? That's the only bit for me with Amorim that I don't get, is why keep persevering with something that's not going to work? Because it's a bit like if you've got children, which like I have, if they keep doing the same thing over and over again, and the tactic that you're trying to use doesn't work, if you keep on doing the same thing, it's just not going to work. So why not try something slightly different? And this, for me, is the bit that I don't get about him, is that he's saying his players are not good enough, yet he's insisting on playing his system with these players who can never play his system. So why not change it until you can get players? That's the logical bit for me. And I'm not giving him a free pass, and I'm not saying his system's perfect. I'm not saying that he's perfect. But the bit for me I don't get is, why wouldn't you change your system slightly to accommodate the players that you're saying are not good enough and can never play your system? Amorin on that doesn't make sense to me. Let's have a little look. Are we talking about the game or doing player ratings? I just sort of spoke about the game and kind of rate some plays in there. Can you pause here? I just need to take my dog down for the toilet. I'm not going to pause, mate. Sorry, buddy. This, mate. This. I'm not going to pause, but feel free to go back with your thoughts on the game for tomorrow. Elijah, I think it's going to be 2-2, mate. I think Arsenal will either nick it 2-1, but I think it's got 2-2 written all over that game for me. I think it's going to be one of those Sunday classic matches. It's going to be very intriguing, really intriguing tomorrow. I don't think Arsenal and Liverpool have played the best so far, but I'm gonna see if I'm going to see which team has fared better. Amorin it out. So Josephine says Amorin out, Jose in. Not for me. Should we have been 3 up at half time? Scott, yes, I do genuinely believe we should have been. MU, are you a United fan? These effing channels are making millions of fans suffering similar to fans. They make more money. I'm struggling. Which channels? MMU, like this channel. I'm assuring you, my friend, I do not make any money on this channel whatsoever, my friend. So if you're referring to me and to us, or are you referring to like Sky Sports or whatever else it is, absolutely, I can assure you that we are nothing like AFTV. We are nothing like those guys. I'm proud to say that we're nothing like those guys. Good luck to them, absolutely, but we're nothing like those. We don't do, even when I do a watch along on here, I'm not over the top for the camera. When we talk about things on here, we are very much logical. We don't pluck things out of our arse, and we don't do things for clicks on here. 100% not. So if you're referring to this channel, I can assure you that we are not making millions out of negativity. We're not negative on here. I'm not. If you look back and look at what we are doing, what people don't like necessarily on here is that we are logical. I do give both sides their fair share, because I think we sort of have to, and to be balanced on here. And this is what I think that we do extremely well in here, is that we are balanced. There are streamers and media guys that love spreading, so that more and more get sacked. I mean, for MMU, yeah, I mean, I do agree with that. I think there are, I do agree with that. I do think you're right. Media guys, I do agree with that. There are some streamers out there, not all of them. I do think sometimes the problem is, I think with bigger channels than ours, is that maybe previously they try to give everybody a voice, and I know how difficult it is to try to get everything right, to try to get the tone right, to try to give people their opinions. I get that completely, right? But I think 100% right about the media is, if you look at the media today, they make a living on winding you up. They make a living on trying to wind me up, winding this fan base up. You are spot on. You look at the people calling that Shesko today. You look at the people saying that today was a lucky win. Let me give you some stats, right? So we are ninth place, right? 3 points behind. I think it's like so Chelsea. City are 11th with 3 points. Newcastle are 15th on 2 points. Villa are 17th on 0 points, and we are got 4 points. 4 points from 9. It's not the best. It's not the worst, but nobody's calling for like Eddie Howe's head. And I'm not saying that Eddie Howe should be. We are 3 games in. We're 9th. I predicted us roughly somewhere between 8th and 10th, right? But nobody's calling for like Eddie Howe or Pep. Pep has just spent God knows how many millions and billions on that team over the last X amount of years, and I know they played a game less, but we're a point ahead of them. So I get it completely. I really, really do. Hello from Boris Isaac. I don't think it's the manager's fault. We had so many chances with this tactics. Players. I agree with you completely. I really, really do. I really, really do. Stone Cold, Steve Rock. Yeah, I'm glad he's gone. Wayne Farias says it's not the manager, it's the players. When Ferguson left the club, the wheels start to fall off. If you get another manager, you could have the same problem. Exactly, Wayne. I mean, these are the questions. You put me in CM for 500 a week, I'll play better than Casa. Scott agreed completely. Casa is old. He's on good wages. He's happy to ride the storm. I think he should be used as a backup centre back. MMU. I agree with the first part of the statement. Casemiro shouldn't be used at all. Casemiro should be gone to Saudi. Let's have this right with Casemiro. Casemiro is not going to go to Saudi because he's getting paid a huge whack of money here. Very much like Sancho is not going anywhere. He's going to stay here, get paid off, get paid their full wages, and then in a year's time, Casemiro will get another lump sum of money. He won't get paid 300k again. He'll get paid like 100k somewhere. Casemiro is here. Let's be having this right. Casemiro will get away with it scot-free because he's not shouting and screaming and he's just doing whatever it is, right? But he's making mistakes. He's not as good as he was. He's not worth 350k a week. Casemiro is here for the money. That's what he's here for. Did you say? I did say it. Toprak edits. 2 new midfielders. 1 now, 1 in January. WJ, mate, I hope so. I really, really do. I really do. But I can't really see it. January window, we don't do business. So, if those of you who want Amorin to stay, the same as I do, if he doesn't get that midfielder in and a goalkeeper, I don't see how that happens. You're saying it's true, but we don't have the players we want. We want the like of Baleba. Yes, we do. We completely do. Sean Twed says, who won the last minute penalty? It was Ahmad. Ahmad won it. The Nefarious says, you're getting the subs because you have a brain between your ears, despite supporting who you do. Keep backing AMO, spot on. But Casemiro, thank you, my friend. Appreciate that, mate. I mean, that does mean a lot. Again, rival fans are welcome here. I love talking to rival fans, getting your opinions in on the club, the banter as well. It's I love it, mate. I love it. We have no hope if we don't get another man in the middle. I think that's a very, very intelligent point. No, it goes back to the point. No decent centre midfielder wants anything to do with the club. I think Frankie de Jong rejected Ten Hag for Barcelona. We've got Casemiro who didn't. Okay, but the bottom line is no one. MMU, mate, I can't disagree with you. I can't. You make a valid point. You make a really, really, really valid point here. You make an extremely, extremely valid point. Who does want to come? Obviously, there are players that do. In Burma, Cunha, they do, right? Shesko, Dorgu, no, they do want to come here. But now we're not paying wages that are ridiculous amounts of money. Unless we start finishing higher up that league. I can't argue with that. I really can't. Like I said, don't mean to cause issues, mate. No need to gang up on me. It's just my opinion. Elijah, you're not causing issues with me. Obviously, the chat, I will say to the chat, like I always say to everybody, obviously, people need to get their opinions out. And if Elijah feels like he's being ganged up on, all I'm saying is, Elijah, is that if you do have views, and like I will say to everybody on here, please let everybody get their opinions out. If you do feel like sometimes you are being ganged up on it genuinely most of the time isn't that. It's just people feel. The thing is, and I think this is for including myself. That includes everybody in the chat as well, right? Those of you who love this club, right, whether you're Amorin in or Amorin out, the common theme at the end of the day, at the centre of this, is the club, right? And we want the club to do well, and we want to win things, but we ultimately want the club to do well, right? And I do stress this. This is just opinion. So all I will say is that when we feel ourselves getting heated, I get it is frustrating. Just take 5 minutes. You can even have a pop at me. That's fine. Let's just get it all out as we have been the last couple of nights. We've done some fantastic shows on here, and yeah, and I know it's frustrating. I saw the game today. I mean, why am I stressing out over a Burnley game and a penalty in the 99th minute? It is ridiculous. It is ridiculous. Can't blame Casemiro if he offered. Rick, I do not blame Casemiro in the slightest. Do not blame him in the slightest. He's entitled. I'm not blaming him, but all I'm saying with Casemiro is let's not pretend when Casemiro leaves that he's this amazingly good guy who stayed because he's this selfless guy. You know, he stayed to like help us out. Casemiro stayed to finish his contract. I get that. There's no ill feeling from me on Casemiro. I hope Casemiro goes on, finishes his career, earns as much money as he can. But let's not pretend that Casemiro is a good enough player. Let's not pretend that Casemiro is worth it. Let's not pretend that Casemiro is got career ambitions. He's 32, 3. I get it completely, but I won't be saying Casemiro is a legend of this club when he leaves. I won't be, I wish him well, but you've been earning 350k a week. That's not your fault. But I won't be celebrating, him like a champion. It will just be, see you later. On for the next one. 4 at 9 points ain't bad. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. Green legend. Back Aaron plays letting him down. WJ, I agree. And Ferret says no funds means no backing, which in turn means no faith. Stop underrating the Portuguese league so much. We've got 40 million for Garnacho, Pork Tail Hoyland. Hey JB, hey Tulip. No point commenting. You're not listening. Who's not listening? I am. I'm. You couldn't run a bath. Never mind a team. You couldn't run a bath. Is that aimed at me? I don't know. I'm agreeing with you. I'm saying that Amorin shouldn't go. I think he's done the right thing. Yeah, you run teams. You couldn't run a bath. Never mind a team. You run teams. Don't quite know there. Is that a switch up there? No, after today and listening to his press, I changed my mind. I do think we should be patient with the system. It's definitely improved from last year in terms of players and stats. It is MMU. I think it has improved today. I do think it has, and I think I'll tell you what I think towards the end of the show, which is going to be soon about what worries me about him at present as well. It's going to be difficult. It's going to be difficult for you to compete against a Arsenal, Liverpool side since they're miles ahead. We're not competing them until we get an influx of money into this side, Wayne. We're not competing, and I'm not silly to realise I'm not a fan who's going to sit here and go, "Oh, we're back," after we've played one good game that we lost, and then Fulham was okay, and then we won today. We're far from back. We're nowhere near the top 4. we're nowhere near, we're nowhere near 6th or 7th. I think we're around 8 to 10, and that is where we are. Practice makes perfect. He's stubborn. Amorin is the man. He knows the system works. I don't disagree. I don't disagree. Amorin, I think Amorin potentially could be the man, but he can't make his system work without players. Like, it's not on Amorin. This is on the players. This is on the board. This is not about Amorin. I'm Amorin in. This is about his players. He cannot make the system work without his players. And if the board don't back him, he can't play the system. And he's going to end up. He's going to end up without proper backing. He's going to end up sacking himself. He only knows his system works for him. Hussein Jamal says, "Hi, I don't think we should be elated about the Burnley result." Hussein, I agree with you. We should be happy that we won. We move on. That's it. I think on here this evening we haven't mentioned about it's amazing, to have won. I'm just glad that we won a game. I'm happy we won. I want to move on from it. We move to the next game, and we now get on to this club about signings. Elijah, Arsenal have played better than they have, but they weren't better when they played us, and they were okay against Leeds. Sprockhan says, "Hi, hello from Turkey. Get carried for the short term." Not for me, mate. He's just not for me. Arsenal do need to win the Premier League, or else they're failure. They go till Christmas and then they drop off. He's making millions. I need and playing for services. I agree. Mate, eventually, my friend, mate, I'll happily pay you for being a mod, mate. I do not forget my friends. What you pulling out there? I don't know what that means. Are there some bad Arsenal fans on here? No, most seem to be pretty good. Most seems to be pretty good. In our feeling, a great day. Scamfield and Michael Johnson made 0-2 back then. Overconfident. You guys, not you guys personally, you guys are new. You've been fair and honest. You get public involved and referring to other YouTubers, media outlets to make money. Mate, again, no. I can assure you, my friend, if we ever make any money on here, trust me, I would take some as payment to make this stuff, but I'd always look to try to plough most of it back into this channel, just to basically do stuff in here tomorrow. Coquerez won't score tomorrow. 3 points off the top exactly. Man U shite. Okay. I'm supporting that. True. Obviously, you've just got yourself banned. I really just can't be bothered with people who just profess to be one thing and then come on here and then do different things. So Rami, US, the big problem is goalkeeper. We have much goals, there errors. I agree with you, Rami. 3 points, but 0 amusement. Philip, intelligent as always, my friend. Kashmir is setting Kashmir to fail. He's past it. I agree with you. I was talking earlier how loyalty is no longer in the game, but I do think Eddie Howe is loyal to his cause. I'm certain he's turned down bigger projects. The only thing with Eddie Howe is he's a great coach, right? Really good coach, but his job always seems to be questioned, right? It shouldn't be. But people are going for Amorin, who's been in the job for not even a year yet. He hasn't had any of his own players. He's had some now. Eddie Howe's been in the job 3 years, and he's got less points. But nobody's talking about that. That's my only opinion on that. And I think that's the point that you're trying to make, is loyalty is everything. But he's been in that job for a couple of years, and he's got 1 point. That's all I'm saying is where's the fairness to us fans, and where's the fairness to this club? Because people want to spin us all around and have us fighting. That is exactly what they want to do. But you have struggled. Pep is different. He's won several Premier Leagues. Yes, but how much has Pep had? Pep has had billions and billions and billions. It's not like he just inherited a failing squad. Pep has been given millions and millions of pounds. It's completely different. Completely different. You can't come on here. Well, you can, of course you can, but the Pep argument for me is not gonna wash for me. Pep Pep is a checkbook coach who, wherever he's gone, he gets given millions of pounds and wins you things. But the City thing for me is, I'm sorry, I'm not having it. I'm not having that. Pep is a checkbook manager. When he got to the club, he bought a goalkeeper for a large amount of money. Um, didn't like him, had him for a year, and then got a new goalkeeper. The left backs, right backs weren't great. He bought four and then decided to buy another four. No, 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 no. The Pep thing is a myth. Pep's won stuff, but you look at what he spent. You look at what he gets. He gets supported. It is you can't. It's like comparing. It's like comparing a broken down Fiesta from 1989 to a brand new luxury sports car from 2025. You just can't do it. You just can't do it. We just need a keeper and a CM. I do think so. Shushan, hello JB. Yeah, the match tonight was okay. Can we talk about Jackson for a second? Brother is waiting on airport to force the loan. He's going to go to Bayern Munich, isn't he, with an option for 80 million. I don't know what's going on down there. Chelsea are tell you what, mate. Chelsea are just Chelsea own the ability to sell players. It is ridiculous. Not ganging up on you, just making a point. Exactly. Just don't agree with this fella and his comments. I just don't agree with this fella and his comments. Can you do a show with Lee Gunner? Who is Lee Gunner? I don't know who that is. And if Lee Gunner wants to do a show with me, happily do a show. I don't know who he is. I don't know who that is, but I happily do a show. Anybody that wants to do a show, more than happily do it, my friend. You're a nice guy. You've got patience. Hang in there. Keep doing what you're doing. Stay consistent. Keep talking sense, because that's so many idiots on YouTube tending to talk sense. Thank you, my friend. That does mean a lot. You need to win a trophy to lift the play spirits. Wayne, mate. Wayne, we need to win back-to-back games first. Let's win some back-to-back games first before we talk about trophies and cups, and that kind of stuff. So let us. I'm not even thinking about trophies. Can't even think about trophies. Can't even think about. I'm not even thinking the game ahead. I'm concentrating on this game now, because we need consistency. We need to get through the season. We need to be realistic about. I'm going from week to week. Like I genuinely am not thinking about trophies. We can't. But people can dream. I get that. But each journey, starts with a footstep, and we generally just need to start taking those footsteps. Let's win back-to-back games. Let's win 3 games on a bounce. Let's get 12 out of 15 points. Let's not start talking about trophies and cups and stuff like that. Let's talk about finishing. And it's pathetic, right? I demand first place from this club every season. I demand Champions League. I demand just to keep your standards up, right? We've fallen so far as a club and a fan base that let's get to where we need to be getting. We know it's a journey. Let's not get swayed by cups and trophies. Let's be swayed by back-to-back wins and performances, which just goes to show how far we've fallen as a club. You just made it today, Anthony Abbas. We did in terms of scoreline. We didn't in terms of performance. I thought we should have been winning that game all day long, right? The chances that we had, we should have put the game to bed, but we didn't. So we made it hard for ourselves. So now over to Liverpool tomorrow. Let's see what you can do against 11 men of Arsenal away from home. Let's see what you can go do there. I mean, Newcastle made it really hard with 10 men. Let's see what you can do against a full strength Arsenal side tomorrow. The team had improved since last season. We defend better. Agreed. There's so many things to be happy about. There really, really is. So I can't read all of the chat. Good evening, sir. Number 1. I still love the name. Good evening. Sometimes you read only half of the posted comment. Give your opinion on that half. When if you had read the whole comment, you'd be more pertinent. Appreciate you have. Again, Rick, mate, I get it, but I'm just skim reading it because there's so many of you. And again, appreciate it. I really, really do. valid comment to say, but I've because I keep repeating myself as well on some of the comments that have been made. I'm trying to skim read it, and as you said there, I can't read every single thing because there's so much of it. I'm just trying to read some of the more pertinent points that I've already, because otherwise I'm going to keep talking about the same thing over and over and over again. Arsenal will be lifting just a tad more the Premiership this season, probably. Gyökeres's first hat-trick tomorrow, let's see. Murney blessed. I love the comeback character, but I wish we had a proper DM. I agree with you completely. I think it's the owners, the Glazers are just making money from the club instead of spending money and being more interested in the club. I agree with you, Wayne. Number one says it's going to be a long and rough season. I agree with you. Bruno and Casemiro as the number two. I think the goals will come, but there is no improving Bruno Casemiro, who can't get on top of a relegation contender. Number one. Agree with you, my friend. 100% agree with you. Reluctant gamer. My Newcastle team are no. Reluctant gamer. I'm not having that, my friend. No. You're not garbage. You're not garbage. What I saw against Liverpool wasn't a garbage team. The problem is, I think for Newcastle, is trying to get players through the door. What people don't realise, and I've got an affiliation to your club because my brother supported them, I've got a family from there as well, is that what people don't realise about your club is that you're a massive club, right? You're a huge club. That stadium gets filled every single week. There's a waiting list. The stadium's rocking. Your fans are passionate. The players are passionate as well. You definitely deserve more than what you've got. The problem is that your owners can't get money into this club. Newcastle are not a garbage team, far from it, and lucky with injuries as well. But mate, on your behalf, I'm not having that. I think Newcastle are a very, very, very good team. It's so difficult. It's so difficult. You're not going to go down the season. You've got a good coach. Players want to play for him. I like how I think he's got something. In some respects, it's not fair, right? That you've got all this money and you can't get it into your squad. I get it completely, but just like us, it's three games, and you're in the Champions League. Look, it's 3 games. Give it time. That Liverpool performance, for me, take heart in that, because that was fantastic. I expect the keeper to come in. Only thing I will commit to is he will look very good in one-on-ones and isn't a disaster on crosses like we have. Hope so. Shurisan says Jackson loan got cancelled. Oh, really? Oh, okay. Oh, okay. And now he and his agent are saying they don't want to return. That's hilarious. Benja, do you mean bad in the modern use of the word? Slap the like button. Yeah, guys, give us a like. Literally, it costs nothing. All I'm going to say is that on here, whether we agree or we don't agree, this is generally some of the best chats that we have. Really, really proud of the show that we did 2 nights ago. It is there. Just go back and watch it. It was the Amorin in-out one that I did. Not because of me, just because of this chat. I just really, we need to take them chances first half. I agree with you. Lee Gunner is a massive Arsenal fan who's a very intelligent pundit. He's an expert where Arsenal is concerned. Mate, I'd more than happily, mate, if you want to recommend me out there to rival fans or clubs, mate, I love getting involved in that debate. And if anybody wants to do any content with me, you want to see me or see them, just recommend me, because I can't do anything unless they want to do things with me. So thanks for reading the comments, mate. I try and get through them. I really, really try to get through them, my friend. I like good MILF, but need me a goth girl with a big booty. See, now I could get clipped up for that. So Bayender is a beast. Says I'm not even going to try to pronounce that. Altabelli is a beast. Do you know what? He's not the worst goalkeeper in the world, but Onana is, but he's all right. He's all right. Do you do you always do live, or are you going to start doing some separate videos based on specific topics? MMU, I've been debating on it for a little while. It basically was how this does. So the sort of plan to do is, yes, I will do. Probably going to be, at the moment, I might do a couple of members only stuff because the members section is going to happen. Like basically in the next couple of days, I do think it will happen. So and then, but it depends. If people want me to do stuff, it's so difficult to know what people want. So if people want to let me know what you think you'd want to see, I'd happily do kind of just like doing specific videos on stuff. I think live works quite well for me. I do actually have another channel. There's loads of long form content on there, but that's just about running and that's just about tech stuff. So this is literally just about tech stuff. It's it's quite a personal thing as well for me. Like if you want to know about me, it's on that channel, about my history and that kind of stuff, and a lot of personal stuff. On like so if that's an interest to you, then that's on there. I can make long form. I've made loads of long form stuff before, so it completely depends on what people want to see. It depends if you want me to make stuff about it. It just completely depends. Later nefarious, you allege we should continue with. No, I don't think we should do. Have you got I haven't actually code logic. That's one of the things I was debating on doing this year, but I haven't. I'll probably set up, depending on if this channel, how long it goes on for, fingers crossed, a whole season, and I will set up a league next year. We should talk about our keeper as we have a gem. I know you're going to keep on spamming us about this. No, we don't. Being that it is not a gem. I really do appreciate your opinion on this one, and do you know what I like? I like the love given to players. So I like the love that you're giving to this keeper. If you think so, that pleases me because then it means that somebody will come and buy him. But I think he's been okay. He's one of the worst keepers I've seen or coming out for a cross. So yeah, not for me. MILF number one. God, it says Scott. There are no Goth with. You guys, honestly, you need to be kidding with Altair. He makes a mistake every game. Maximus1318. Would he love to have seen what Old Trafford would have done if Onana trotted out onto the pitch at the start of the game? Maximus1318. For the laughs, I would have loved to have seen it, but I don't even think he's that. There's stubbornness and then there's idiotic. And for what you think of him, I don't think he wants to anger the fan base that much. I agree. They are the biggest team. They're the richest team. Definitely. I am from Indonesia. Hello. I hope you're doing really well. The biggest team in Newcastle. I love it. Anyone can make mistakes. I just saved our ass a lot in matches. No, we didn't. He cost us against Arsenal. So, and I genuinely am not having a pop at you on this one, but he really didn't. He cost us against Arsenal and a mistake against, I think it was Fulham as well. So, no, he's not an awful keeper. He did okay today, but no, he's not great. Number 1 point. Where are we? We need to talk about Bayinda. No, we don't, my friend. We really don't. AM Bayaka, Indonesia. Hello, my friend. Bayinda is a beast. We have a war and a gem. No, we don't. If you keep spamming the chat, they're going to get blocked, my friend. You're welcome here, 100%. But I'll give you my opinion, and the chat can let you in on it as well. But the only thing I'm going to say on it now is that That's your opinion. I'm really glad that you think that, but I don't think we do. Why put another layer of gold paint on a Bentley when you are losing the entire engine? To Dan's words, ring true. I agree with you. We don't need a new attack. We need a new engine room. Cod Logic, salute you, sir. I think you are absolutely spot on. The only hit that like button once would be bashing its sensor if I could. Thank you, sir. People, just keep bashing it. That sounds wrong. Keep bashing the like button. Obviously, whatever you do in the comfort of your own home, then that's up to you. You know, number one, that's a vast swarm in Holland. Is that where you're from? Number one, Goth is dead. If you have the time when you do a show, if you could get there, I will come to the show with you, JB. If you have the time when you do a show, or at Old Trafford, if you can get there, I will come. Oh, amazing! I will come and FI the show with you. Amazing, my friend. I'm actually debating on. So one of my long-term plans, right, is I'd love to do like a Monday show or some sort of show outside. So you know, if I get the opportunity and some free time and the channel goes well, that's one thing I would like to do is to kind of do like a show from outside. You know, do like a Monday segment or do like a Friday segment or something outside the club. That's something I would love to do. You know, I know where to go. You know, I've been there quite a few times. So Scott, I mean, that would be awesome. I will do something up there at some point live, or even just the segmented stuff. So I'll give you a shout, and that's amazing to know, because one of the things is, as hopefully as this channel grows, I want to grow it, and I want to grow it with people. And if the more people that I can do stuff with or want to be on the channel or even do a show, I'm up for that as well. You know, I'm all about bringing people in. You know, so it's something that I'd love to do. Love to bring in you guys to the shows as well. You know, get opinions, maybe do some sort of, I don't know, but let's get there first, and I'd love to extend this show out to as many people, and you know, make it bigger, get you involved, because it's all about you as well, right? So yeah, Scott, I appreciate that, my friend. I think it will have a structure on your content, because you are being fair and nice, but some comments may be inappropriate. It must be difficult to go back and forth on the topics. It is, but I think there will be some more structure to it as well, particularly when it comes to the member stuff. I think I need to do some sort of audit or some sort of questionnaire on that, because I do want to put members on. I want to put members chats on. I do want to do that sort of stuff, but I don't want to marginalize people. So, you know, so if people want to come in the chat but obviously can't afford, you know, members like chats, I want to be fair. I don't want to be balanced as can, because for me it's not just about money. You know, I'd rather make the money off of like the platform that I'm on, rather than making a bunch of money off of yours backs, because I just don't necessarily think that's fair. But at the same time, you know, for this to grow, we can think about that together. You know, I'll open this up to people as well. Shirishan says, good night, always great chatting, love you from India. Thank you, my friend. Number one. No, Scott, I travel around Europe for work, which lends itself to variety of hunting. Number one, Beander is good with the ball and a shootout. He's well for basics. Is that the Death Star above your left side? No, it's not. That's a light, and that is some sort of that's a rollerball, a light, and a. I should really show you around. Right now, it's awful. But yeah, I'm going to do something over there on that wall there. I've got a whole canvas there that I've been meaning to do. Next week I can do it, because the kids are back in school, so I can do some stuff. So let's see what I can do. Code Logic, Man Utd, I need fewer coaches and more sports physios. I hope and marriage counsellors and sports psychologists. I don't disagree with that comment. I'm from the Netherlands. Ajax are better than Man United. Nah, I'm not having that, mate. Nah. I like Ajax. Massive respect to Ajax. Ajax are a huge club, absolute giants of European football at one point. One of the best teams: Van der Sar, Kluivert, Davids, Seedorf, did the Boers, Winter, I think, or was it as well? One of the greatest European club sides of all time. Litmanen as well, I think. Yeah, not now though. No. HJB, it feels like a relegation battle. Good news is Chelsea finally made Garnacho sit down. Chiefurb, it feels like it, doesn't it? It's not going to be. It's not going to be. You know, we will eventually put some of these teams to bed. You know, we will eventually play a Burnley and put 3 or 4 past them in the first half, because we will, right? But yeah, as we spoke about, and I think as I've said, as we've spoken about on here many times, is that it's not going to be an easy season. We know we're going to finish in and around 9th or 10th. And I think it's starting to hit home. I think for those people who are, and I get it, those people who want this team to do well, who are so excited for us to do well and play football. Sometimes they get a little bit excited. This is where we are, but we can't beat Amorin out just yet. I think we have to back him. Rinders, best player of Holland. Yeah, but that is one player though. I think Manu has been poisoned. I don't know. I think Manu's been poisoned. Let's see, shall we? Has he been poisoned? Maybe he has. If there's any news or any rumours in the 200k thing being true, I think that is. I think you're right, Chief. Pressure is just too much for the players right now. Amorin is the right to build from the bottom instead of air dropping short-term ballers in. Cod Logic. I think you are. I think your name is spot on. I think you're very logical. I think you're very calm with it as well. I think you're spot on. Amorin is losing. I feel for him. He's human after all. I don't think he'll be able to handle the pressure. There's a possibility that he lost half of the dressing room. Yeah, I actually don't disagree with that. Some of the comments that were made were quite concerning. Stephanie, welcome. Big up JB. Big up the chat. Big up to yourself. Number 1, I'm a big fan of Amorin, but he lacks the emotional control. Do you know what? I'll come on to that. So some of the things, I won't go through the whole of the conference, but some of the things he basically said were that one day he's going to hate the team, one day he's going to like the team, one day he's going to hate the players, like the players, one day he wants to be here, one day he wants to walk, one day he wants to be here for 20 years. I mean, I'm sorry. That is, for me, is just, if you ever want a baffling, really strange comment to make, I get it, but you don't come out and say it. I mean, I think that's his inexperience there. You know, I can't imagine Klopp ever saying that. I can't imagine Klopp saying it. Can't imagine Pep saying it. Can't imagine Howe saying it. Fergie wouldn't say it. Jose wouldn't say it. You know, I can't imagine any of these guys would be saying it. And I get it. I know that's how Amorin feels, but I mean, come on. I mean, if you're talking like that, I mean, how can we have a manager in charge of this club? And this doesn't mean that I'm out, by the way. This is a question, right? How can you have a manager who's trying to run a dressing room, trying to get these world-class stars to play, and he's coming out with that? Is it a Portuguese thing? Is it because Fernandes is very much the same? Now, I'm up for honesty. I like that, but there comes a line where if you're in charge, you've got to keep that under control. So I agree with that. I mean, that for me was just a bit weird. The players are to blame. I agree. The tactics not working. It's not Amorin anymore. It's a United problem. I agree. We need to change this kind of performance weekly. It's hard to watch. I agree. Do you like Coventry City? I like old Coventry City. I remember Ogruzovic in goal. I remember Dublin when he played there. I'm just trying to think back of all the players that you sort of had. I have no opinion on them. Have no opinion. I used to collect Coventry in the first Premier League sticker book. It's probably as much as I know about them. I remember the Coventry City shiny football sticker badge thing was the best. I love that. But yeah, FH Ten Hag. I'm I I'd love to tell him for you, but he's not here. Okay, thanks. Really, I'm gone this time. They hated South London. Gunnar will be lucky, happy. We got Eze back. It's the next Millennium Dome. In Nefarious, you are a legend. Facts for motivation. You watch football. You watch football. Yes, I watch football. Yes. It's tragic. If there's one thing at least Ten Hag is confident, unlike Amorin. I watched Middlesbrough today. Their midfield is far superior to us. Nipan, I like him. Morris and Hackney. Morris looks like a superb CM destroyer. Do you know what? You make a good point. Nipan, especially Hackney. Morris, I've not really seen him too much of that. Chief Herb, I can't believe I just said that. You watch football. Facts. I mean, look. I mean, honestly, it's just ridiculous. The Aussie Gooner. United is not of old. This place is volatile. These players are throwing him under the bus. Welcome. Oh, Peter Unlove. Oh yes, 100%. The Aussie Gooner. I mean, you're welcome here, mate. Mate, you're welcome here. I really don't know. The place. I do agree, though. I do agree that it's a volatile place at the moment, and they threw him under the bus. As John S says, Peter Unlove. Mate, he was quality. Absolute quality player. He was. Always been the same thing with players throw him under the bus. I believe there's toxic environment within the group. My guess is Luke Shaw. I agree with you completely. Code Logic, we lost control of the games. We lose control of games when players. Yeah, I agree. Amorin said the players just do what they want when times get tough. But his captain Bruno is the worst. And there lies the problem, right? You know, if I think. Those of you who are Amorin out, who want him to walk or want him to get sacked, I think we're only ever a couple of games away from it. You know, as much as I want him to stay, if Amorin walks, I'll be very, 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 very disappointed in Amorin and the club, more so the club. But it'll be interesting then to see what comes out when it does happen. Republic of Ireland world champions, maybe. Let's not forget Luke Shaw was laughing at Pogba after losing to City, and Jose said there were 3 players that are toxic within the club. I think he is very, very toxic. I think we will get Lemens on deadline day, and we'll have to do with the midfield. Scott, I think you're spot on. And then I think those of you who want Amorin out will get your wish. I think without a CM, I don't see how he lasts. I want him to. I will be supporting him as much as I can, but I think you're right. Just love, bro. Love. Exactly. Nefarious. Love back to you, mate. How's it going, big man? I think it's all good. I'm not bantering, mate. I call it straight. A spade is spade. Arsenal hat off. These players will be shamed. Mate, I don't think you are, my friend. I think it's a very, very good point. I agree with you. Sadly, I agree with you. Arsenal hat on or not, banter or not, mate, I agree with you completely. There is no defence from me, my friend. Which keeper should be signed? I think Lemens is the only one we can sign. I think he's the only one that we can realistically sign. Nothing's there yet, but I think realistically he's pretty much the one that we can get. If we get Angelo and a keeper, that'll do for us. Chief, right now we need a centre midfielder. We probably need 2. But we're not going to get Cunha. Injuries concerning at the moment. I'm happy we got Mount. Chief, the problem is Mount. The thing is with Mount, what we need to realise, and I think I said this at the top of the show, Chief, was that Mason Mount's injury is going to sideline him again. He went off at half time. I don't know if that's a precaution, but we need to come to terms with Mason Mount's injury is a very, very serious career-ending injury. I don't know what it is. It's something to do with his pelvic region, his pelvic floor, his the connection between the pelvis and the muscles. It's not good. So yeah. So I guess guys, that's where we are. We've been on it again for an hour and 50 minutes. It's unbelievable. 10,000 subscribers again. It's just unreal. I genuinely can't believe it. It is just unbelievable. Yeah, I just Mount needs to do more kettles. I agree with you completely, mate, but I think he's screwed. I don't think us Irish have any footballers left. Harry Maguire, Declan Rice went for England. Here's to rugby, mate. Exactly. Grealish as well was Irish, wasn't he? Or was Irish. Um, yeah, rugby, mate. I mean, I'm a Welshman by birth, so yeah, rugby for me is a little bit sore as well. So rugby, I can't win. Football, I can't really win right now. So I'll be here at 1 million, mate. Those of you, I don't forget names. I don't forget faces. And those of you who've been here from the beginning, would you take Asensio? He's going to. Yes, I would. I would. But is Asensio more of an attacking midfielder? I always thought he was more of an attacking midfielder. I'd take him if he was cheap. I think I'd take him if he was cheap. So yeah, if he was cheap, I would take him. So on that, guys, I am going to go. Amazing show. I mean, there's so many of you now. I genuinely would thank each and every one of you. You know, some managers don't rest players enough. When they do get injured, that's where the problem starts. Exactly. But guys, all of you, Red Devils United. Today was a psychological victory. It shows we are still scared from last season. I'm happy we won. Hopefully, we improve from today. Red Devils, I like that, my friend. Beat the Irish in the quarterfinals 2023. Yes, they did. Stephen Moore up the Chelsea. Another London derby up the Chelsea. Tells you what, don't sleep on Chelsea this season. I think we've said that. Get the Portuguese baker out of my club. Chelsea, Stephen Moore, we said that, didn't we, mate? Do not sleep on Chelsea this season. Once they click, once Chelsea click, it could be interesting. Hope your daughter had a great birthday, mate. Thank you very much. She did. She's very, very happy with her Barbie house. She had a massive house. So yeah, she's enjoyed that immensely. Just a quick like. Now off. Have a blessed Sunday, brother. Emmy, you too, my legend. You seem like a true Man U fan. Wayne, I've been supporting this club for 38 years, right? It is in my blood, right? It's in my blood. I've been not doing this, but talking about football, watching the club for a very, very, very long time. I've been there. Martin Fay, the first name is John. So the first name is John. So everybody now knows. Yeah. So the first name is John. Yeah. What I'm going to say is that I've been here for supporting this club for 38 years. It's in my blood. I've been the fan. I've been the overconfident fan. I've been the cocky fan. I've been the humbled fan. Then I've been the brother. I've been the father. I've got children. You know, things happen in life. Things happen in work. You know, all that kind of stuff. And then all melds together, right? And with life experience, and then you get to 42 years old, and then you have a different view completely on life, and you have a different view on how you view football, how you view life, how you view people, how you speak to people. You know, how you how you view people in general, you know, how you view football. And I think that's what you've got to do. Much like football, I think in life you've got to adapt. And you've got to adapt to people and how you talk to people and how you feel. You don't have to. Of course you don't. But for me, you know, football is one thing, but people and lives are another. And that's me, my friend. I've been a Liverpool fan since I was 4. Martin Fate, mate, you exactly the same. I mean, you are. I mean, you guys in here, Martin, Wayne, Ryan, Stephen. You know, Emmy. I mean, if I was to go through all of the names, I mean, you guys are just to do this with you guys is now a passion of mine. Is a passion of mine. Is something that I love to do, even if you don't support United. You guys are really, really good guys. I just feel really honoured to just be on the chat and speak I speak to you guys. Ryan, come on, you boys. A win's a win, exactly. The Aussie says the collapse of Arsenal and then United, to be honest, has taken the feel out of the Premier League. Those battles, mate, were great to watch. I remember those Aussie. I remember those days. I mean, in my I was in my mid to late teens. I lived those eras. I lived when Rioch was in charge of Arsenal. Man United 8-2. What the best memory. Um, I remember, Rioch, he was in charge, and then Wenger came into the league, and Wenger was like this. When Wenger came in from Grand Passat, I think it was, or was it Monaco, or whichever team it was, and he came in, and it was like a completely different style of play, like just absolutely. Thanks, Stephen, mate. But mate, respect to you, buddy. Respect to you, my friend, legend. Um, and I remember when you came in and then you started buying the Petit and Vieira and Overmars. You had Winterburn at people forget that Tony Adams at one point was finished, right, with his drinking. Winterburn as well. Winterburn, had a massive issue. Merson as well. People. Ben Stiller, Walter Mitty, can you bring the Republic of Ireland to the World Cup glory? I love it, amazing. Um, and I remember those days well. Merson, Dixon, Winterburn, Adams, Steve Bold. Um, yeah, what a team. And I'm glad Arsenal were back. We just need to follow suit as well. Code Logic, honestly, between City's 115. Chelsea's trafficking all these kids and nations being allowed to buy a club. The game's gone. It's a completely different game, isn't it? To the one that I started to watch in the late 80s, to the games I went to during the 80s. And I mean, I went to some League Four games when I was about 4 and 5, and even then I knew it was awful then. So football's changed completely. Thomas Mercy says, what's your predictions for tomorrow's game? I think 2-2. I think Arsenal at home, aren't they? So I think it's a 2-1 or Arsenal sneak it. I think it's a 2-2 or Arsenal sneak it 2-1. I think it's going to be a very, very, very close game. Drunkenstein says, Bruno is a clown. Oh, John Hartson. Who scored that? Was it John? Who scored that goal against? Who scored the goal from? Was it Naeem that scored against Seaman from literally like the halfway line? Hartson. Hartson was quality. I really, being Welsh. Hartson was quality. Anelka, Hartson, Righty. I mean, just Smith as well. Competitiveness is a myth when the owner of City has shares in Liverpool. Exactly. Chelsea sign gone out. So now that's a joke. I mean, good luck. Good luck to Chelsea with him, because you're gonna need it, because he's a mercenary through and through. Stephen Moore, I'm old school. I think you need to stick with Amorin at least until Christmas. I agree with you, Stephen. I think we need to stick with him as long as we can. And and then I think that will perfect. So guys, I'm going to go absolute legend tonight. Garnacho is useless. I agree. I'm going to go. I could stay on here with you all night, talk about football and this club. I'm going to go. Massive thank you. When I say thank you, I don't just mean it like thank you as in just a quick thanks and then I'm off. Like, I genuinely mean it. Like, to come as far as we have in such a short space of time is just amazing, and it really is just amazing. And like I always say, the end of the show, those of you like who've been here for a long time, he did Big Ban Hartson, is that in life you can buy many things. You can buy football teams, players, you can buy wives, you can buy fast cars, houses, but in life the one thing you can't buy is time. A really poignant thing to say, because the last couple of nights we've had some good chats on here about people. Somebody who came on here, I'm not going to name names, but really like touched me actually, was basically how stage 3 cancer, and before that, one thing that I do always say this after every stream, because I think it's really, really important to say, is that you can't buy time, because life is important. And the fact that you guys, like, you come on here, and I have people in here now who've lost people to cancer, who've got cancer themselves, who come on here and they spend their time on this community with us, talking to me, and it is just, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable that somebody who's got stage 3 cancer wants to come into this chat. So this is why for me it's so important. I spelled my name without the H. So it's Jon. Money doesn't buy health. Exactly, Wayne. It doesn't buy health. It doesn't buy life. It doesn't buy you time. It doesn't buy health. It doesn't buy life. And this is why is that it's so important that that I appreciate you guys. But also, there is more to life than football. There's more to life than this, and this is why I'll always say to take care of each other. I really love that. Felix Drew, I really love the Mac accent. I know, it is amazing, right? It's so Manc, it sounds Essex, right? That's how Manc I am, is that I sound Southern. It's unbelievable. Yeah, but guys, generally when I say this, thank you so much. Whether you're here a minute, a second, an hour, it means so much to me, this channel. Thank you for being here. Do you think that's a pen been mount? I don't know, maybe. Look on the bright side, at least you're not a Liverpool fan. I love it. AKS 97. Thank you all. Thank you so much. So yeah, I will be back. Tomorrow, probably be back later on. I've got a barbecue tomorrow. So my daughter has had a week. She's 6 years old. She just turned 6, and she's literally had a weekend, a birthday over a weekend. So tomorrow is the last day of celebrations. The Liverpool game, I'm not going to be able to cover that tomorrow. There's no chance of that. I'm gutted, but I will. Yeah, I'll be back. I'll try and sneak off if anything breaks. I doubt it will. Yeah, guys, the support is unbelievable. You guys are unbelievable, and yeah, thank you so much. Take care of each other. Still looking vulnerable, John, but still good. Thank you, my friend. I will see you guys very, very soon. Yeah, have a good one. Take care of yourselves. See you on the next one. Look after yourselves. Take care of you, your family, and I'll see you very soon. Take care, and I'll see you on the next one.